Episode 79, Find a Guru, and the summer series announcement. Welcome to the First Year Married podcast, where we get real about building the marriage of your dreams. I'm marriage coach Kayla Levin, and I take newly married and engaged women from anxious and insecure to confident and connected through practical tips, real-life inspiration, and more than a little self-awareness along the way. Hello, friends. Welcome back. I just got off our weekly group coaching call in the First Year Married online community. That's for anybody who's ever done the First Year Married course. And I'm on a high. So I'm totally supposed to be going to bed right now. It's already 11 o'clock at night here in Israel, but there's no way I'm going to sleep. I got so much amazing feedback. It's amazing how powerful it is to hear somebody else's coaching, to have somebody else bring up something which might be your blind spot, might be the thing that you don't even know you want to work on, and then get the perspective and the coaching to be able to sort of bring that into your awareness and your consciousness. I got a bunch of messages after the call was over from different people who were excited to have been on the call, and I don't even know if they submitted any questions themselves. I just am so happy to be able to share that. If you guys haven't signed up yet, what's going on, people? Let's go. We need to get you in there. We need to get you support and enthusiasm and excitement for your marriage. It is just the best. It's just to make it super clear, because I know a lot of people get confused. It's a one-time purchase of the course, and then these calls are just what I offer to make sure that people are able to implement that material. Hopefully the calls will turn into something more down the line, but for now, that's what we're doing, and people are getting a ton of value and a ton of free coaching after they've signed up for the course. So I want to get you in there. I want to have you join our community of super amazing women who are prioritizing their marriages, building them super strong. We've got a lot of women in there who've been married for well over that first year. So if you're hesitating because you feel like maybe it's not quite for you, we're considering a name change. I'll just put it that way, because we have so many women who are doing the program and listening to this podcast who've been married for longer than a year. I don't know where we're going to end up going with it. You guys, you'll let me know. You're going to tell me. You have helped design and create this with your feedback and your questions, and somehow we're going to figure out where this whole train is taking us. But in the meantime, I'm so excited to share this episode with you. Last week, we talked about finding your inner guru, which is the voice of calm and wisdom, really the voice of your upper brain that you can call upon when your brain feels like it's spinning out of control, when you're getting super emotional or super stressed, right? And your thoughts are just getting faster and faster and faster. Last week's episode was about sort of personifying, creating a character of this inner voice that you can call upon to sort of create a conversation inside your head. I know it sounds kind of woo-woo, but it really works. So I encourage you to try it if you haven't given it a shot yet. I've also talked a lot over the course of this podcast about making your husband your guru, and I want to touch on that a little bit more. I hear so many times about wives who are frustrated that, let's say, he's relaxing and she's working so hard, or she wants to be on time and he's enjoying a few moments with the family in the morning. And of course, sometimes it's the opposite. He's so super driven and she just wants him to sit back and enjoy and relax. So my shift happened when I decided, what if I make my husband my guru? Whatever we were so fundamentally different about meant that there must be a part of my personality that was unbalanced, right? Like if I really needed one thing and he was the other way, why was I so unbalanced that it was like such an issue for me, that it was such a difference, right? It means both of us were sort of leaning in opposite directions. So my example is being on time. I went to theater school at NYU, to the most amazing studio in the world, the Atlantic. Yes, half of you are going to ask me, was it really that amazing? Yes, it was amazing in every single way. Sorry, wish I could tell you otherwise. It was so phenomenal. The studio was founded based on the philosophy of actor William H. Macy and playwright and screenwriter David, and director and everything, David Mamet, writer. And different things, of course, came down through that training. But one of the things that they drilled into us is the phrase, 5 minutes early is 10 minutes late. Okay, you got the math? Because that means be there 15 minutes early always. 5 minutes early is 10 minutes late. That was like one of the taglines they drilled in. I don't know taglines. That's like one of the lines that they really, really, really drilled into us in training. I think it's a great rule. It was very smart, especially as an actor, you want to make sure that you're there and you have time to settle and just get yourself prepared. And 15 minutes, especially in Manhattan, is a pretty good amount of time for like, if you're planning on being there 5 minutes early, you actually probably will be there 10 minutes late, right? Like give yourself that breather to make sure that you are punctual, you are professional, you are on time. A big piece of this training was like, they were just really not interested in divas and drama queens. And so how do we show up as real partners and creators in a professional way? But the interesting thing is that for me, the message that I heard, and this is on me, this was not the way it was transmitted in any way, but this is the way that I internalized the message, was that it was shameful if you were late. So instead of just seeing what it was, which was a boundary, right, that they were setting and a training that they were creating, I generalized this whole concept into self-worth, right? Silly brain. So I had to learn later that being late isn't an emergency, that even if other people are judging me for being late, that's actually really not essentially my problem, right? And when I got married, it's no accident that I ended up married to a man who will gladly be late if it means a few more minutes of connection and conversation before he starts his day. This is not an accident. I promise you. Whatever you need to work on, you will find it in your husband. It will happen. So you see how I was like overbalanced in the being on time thing? And so after a lot of time of trying to educate him about the virtue of timeliness and how it's respectful and it's important and how it makes you really what I thought is like good people are on time. Therefore, if you're not on time, you're not a good person. Finally, I decided to get curious about, well, maybe there's something about all this that he can teach me. Because for sure, teaching him wasn't working, right? Trying to change him didn't work. And the truth is that today, those moments of connection that he taught me to take, even if it means being a little late, those are the things that keep me going on the hardest days. And of course, it's so much more important than being on time to have a real relationship and to take moments to connect to the people that you love the most, that you rarely get those moments with. I mean, think how many, if you think of the Gottmans and the relationship bank account, like how many deposits into that emotional bank account that we've had over the last 11 years because he taught me that sometimes let's just finish the conversation. Let's finish the cup of coffee. Let's take a couple more minutes to connect before we rush off into our day. If I hadn't been in a place and finally gotten to a place of curiosity and learning, I would have missed out on all of that. So do I still aim to be on time? Absolutely. Do I still get a little stressed out if I'm running late? More than a little. But by being open to what I can learn from him as a person with such a different perspective, I believe I became a more well-rounded person. So this week, I wanted to share this idea that I've been playing around with for a while. And it's all started with this insanely popular Instagram account of Mrs. Hinch. So she has like 3.5 million followers at this point. So most of you probably follow her already. But if you don't, she is an Instagrammer who started off not really ever intending for this to go anywhere, but she loves to clean her house. Like it is her self-care is to clean her house. Okay. And the hilarious thing is I was trying to go and get her like hashtag or her handle so I could share it with you guys here. Totally got lost on Instagram for like 20 minutes while I was doing that. So it's at Mrs. Hinch Home. And y'all, we just got to be careful when you're going to the Instagram. It's dangerous over there. You get sucked in. Okay, so what do I want to share with you about Mrs. Hinch? So her account, she's sort of like sharing her husband and her kid and the things that she does, but the majority of what she's doing is showing things that she's renovating in their home, but mostly like daily cleaning. Like I'll watch an entire story of her cleaning her toilet and her bathtub, right? And the products that she uses and how she does it, and she puts it to music and all of this stuff, right? And it was so interesting to me because here is a woman who loves taking care of her home and cleaning her home. But most of us come from a perspective of like, oh my gosh, I can't stand it. It's all a chore. It's all a drain and a drudge, and it's the worst, and I have to deal with it. So I wanted to kind of apply what I learned with this being on time thing with my husband to cleaning. And I was like, well, what if Mrs. Hinch was my guru? Okay, so I'm like studying this amazing woman. I really think she's the sweetest. If you follow her, she's just, you like love her. I literally bought her audiobook. I'm like listening to her book, which is like her whole story. I go specifically to her stories and try and watch a little bit, a couple times a week. I'm trying to see how she thinks. I'm trying to get her thoughts and her beliefs and all of her feelings about cleaning her house. Because the truth is, I'm going to be doing it either way. Whether you split it 50-50 or you only do a little bit or you do all of it, however much, if we live in a house, we probably spend some time cleaning it. If I'm going to be doing it either way, wouldn't it be pretty awesome if it was like self-care? Like, is it possible that I could actually find that to be, here's the thing, it's like her hobby. Like, what if cleaning your tub was your hobby, right? Like, seriously breaks my brain a little bit. And this, to me, this is a whole different energy than the inner guru energy, right? Like the inner guru could come in if you're like, let's say, feeling really resentful that like you have to clean all the dishes and there's just so many and someone should be helping you, right? And then the inner guru could be like, well, is there a reason he's not helping? Or like, is it really the worst thing? Or does he sometimes he helps too, right? It can start to kind of loosen that like cycle storm thing that we get going in our brain. This is a whole different perspective. This is possibility. This is play. This is challenging our assumptions. This is taking the thing that you've got your story about, your whole narrative about, and finding a person who approaches it from the polar opposite, who takes the thing that is a challenge for you and they love it, right? I mean, you could imagine this for money. Let's say you hate budgeting, you hate dealing with your money and figuring it out and looking at investments, but go listen to my podcast. I have two of them. I have one with Yael Trush from Jewish Latin Princess, and she talked about money dates. The woman bleeds love for talking about money and taking care of your money. She loves it. It's fun for her. So interesting, right? That someone could have so much fun with money when some of us think it's such a drag. I also have one with Jen Nielsen, earlier podcast called Zero-Based Budgeting. And she talks about how they use money for their travel adventures and how she pulled the whole thing together. People can enjoy this stuff. Isn't that crazy? So I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are the areas that you are going to find a guru for? What are the areas that feel like they are just, there's no way to enjoy it. It just has to be dealt with. It's just part of life. But look, if we're going to be doing it, let's play with this a little. Let's see, maybe we can find a way to really enjoy this stuff. So this summer, I'm super excited. I don't have Mrs. Hinch coming on, but if any of you know her, hook me up. We got to have her on this podcast. She's so amazing and you would love her so much. But I am super excited because we are going to be going on a guru interview series. So I have asked women from all the different areas that we fetch about the most, the cooking and the kids and the organizing, all the things, women who have created businesses or programs who love this stuff, right? This is their focus. It's something that for us goes on in the background and we have to manage it because we have to live. But I wanted to give them center stage to talk about it from a place of love and passion and interest and fascination, to just loosen all of our minds to like, maybe there's some stuff going on in our life that could actually be really fun for us. So we will be starting next week. make sure that if this is your first time listening, you have subscribed to the podcast and sign up for the email list. You can go to firstyearmarried.com. When you put in your name for that free course, you will get added to the email list. And that way you'll get emails to announce all the upcoming episodes so you won't miss any of them. We've got some amazing, amazing women coming on, like women that I was like, for sure, they're not going to say yes. They said yes, they're coming. They're going to talk to you. You're going to love it. These interviews are profound and deep and inspiring and also fun. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you sign up for the email list. There's special content that goes out there that doesn't go out anywhere else. Let me know. I want to hear from you how this is changing your life, how this is changing your perspective. Have an amazing week, everyone. See you back here next week. Bye-bye.